on
this
that
show.
train, I was like, yo, this show is everything.
Yes.
Afghanistan.
Yes.
It was a little botched.
You know, it's funny that you say that about Afghanistan, because one thing with me when it comes down to politics, I'm not a politics person. I really not, because I feel like politics reminds me of, and I've mentioned this before, like when you're in high school and you're running for president and you say, you know, I'm gonna get everybody free lunches, and everybody know damn well Becky and Jonathan are not gonna be able to get us free lunches, but we be like, yeah, we gonna get free lunches, and we never get the free lunches. Okay, so that's why I'm not into politics, because it's a bunch of bullshit. Anyhow, I say all that to say, as I was watching CNN and I seen all these people boarding the planes, thousands and thousands of people boarding the planes, I said that is billions of dollars being spent. And I'm the type of person, anytime I see the country doing things for other people, and you got people in the hood, you drive through neighborhoods, whether it's in Chicago, New York, whatever, you go through many hoods, and there needs to be millions, not billions, but millions of dollars spent in those neighborhoods to upkeep it, and the country will not even spend a dime on those neighborhoods. But they will put thousands and thousands of people on planes that they don't know who they are. Come on now.
I agree with you. But the rebuttal to that is going to be, we just gave y'all like $4 trillion in free money.
Well, okay, so let me go back to that one. So prior to this whole pandemic, prior to Kobe Bryant dying in January of 2020, Black people have been talking about reparations for years.
Yes.
For years. We've been talking about this reparations. Even Senator Booker said, if I get voted president, I'm going to implement something to compensate for the whole, 40 acres and a mule.
No taxes. I'll take not having to pay taxes ever again.
But my thing was, so it was always, we can't afford to give y'all reparations. So then now we have this pandemic, and everybody in the country got all this money given to them, when it was just us as a minority. When before Kobe Bryant died in January 2020, y'all could have gave us that money. Y'all could have gave us that money in 1990. You could have gave us that money in 1980. You could have gave us that money in 1970. You could have gave it to us in 1960. You guys would spend billions of dollars on wars. But when it comes down to us, you won't cut a freaking check.
There's no money shortage. You see all these trees out here?
Cost over $2 trillion. $2 trillion.
Yes. But when it comes down to us, talk to your local representatives in your neighborhoods. No, give us our money. I think I mentioned before, I met a Black couple where the wife said her family did get their 40 acres and a mule. They did get there. She said, but the stipulation was that they could not ever sell that piece of land to anybody. They had to keep it in the family. That was in the contract. So she said her family, because they didn't have an education, were dumb. They literally walked away from the piece of land and left it to rot. So somebody got that piece of land now. But this was years ago.
Somebody had 40 acres?
Son's year.
You know what we can build on 40 acres?
And her family got their 40 acres and a mule years ago.
But see, that's the problem. We get stuff, or it has never been discussed how after not even Emancipation Proclamation, because remember, Texas was not about that life. But after Juneteenth, when we were all free, you had 400 plus years of slavery. And now you're like, okay, you're free. Go be free. I'm not going to give you nothing. I'm not going to give you no therapy. I'm not going to check on your kids, your health. No, I'm not going to teach you how to read. Nope. I'm not going to teach you any business acumen. None of that.
But I will start building jails and implement a prison system.
And I will implement that 13th Amendment.
For anybody who's watching this that is not a Black person, I need even Spanish people to listen to me. There are people that came to this country with nothing but the shirt on their backs and were given thousands of dollars to start their businesses. You had Koreans that came over here, they know how to speak English. didn't know how to speak anything, and they were given fruit and vegetable stands. So everybody else has been given stuff. You got these.
And see, the thing about it that pisses me off beyond pissed offness is those people that you're talking about, Keish, that come over here and they be like, oh, I came over here with nothing on my backs and I was able to build this enterprise and this, that, and third. Black people are just lazy. No, stupid. No, stupid. If we were lazy, you wouldn't have a country to come to.
Thank you.
Thank you. People that look like me were worked to the bone, actually.
Thank you.
We're worked to the
like
bone.
You couldn't do the work that we did.
Exactly. Work to the bone.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're working, if you got hit and whipped with something that causes more pain than I would even imagine, you had to still till the field.
Yeah.
Right.
With pus coming out your back.
Yes.
Yo, have you ever seen a cotton field in real life?
Yeah, not in real life. I seen, have I seen one? Wait a minute.
I've seen one driving.
Yes, I've seen one driving, but not
in the South.
Well, have you been in a cotton field?
No.
No.
All right, so quick story. So I was in Alabama. And where was I going? I was going to see Alabama A&M. I was doing a college visit. And we stopped at some little, like, not a deli, but some little, like, little market store or whatever. Mm-hmm. And to the left is this cotton field with cotton growing in it. And I'm looking at the field. I'm like, yo, this field is huge. And I'm talking like cotton that's like, I'm 5'9", so the cotton, let's just say, was like 5'5", 5'6". Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here like, imagine getting beat and you got to walk this entire field.
Right.
While getting beat. I'm like, this is crazy.
Beat, starved, raped.
Like all day?
All day.
In the heat.
Sun up to sundown.
Y'all saw 12 Years a Slave? How Lapita's character was the bomb.com with picking cotton?
Uh-huh.
Then everybody was getting trouble around her because she was picking too much cotton. She was picking it faster than everybody else.
Whatever you gotta do to not get whipped.
Whatever you gotta do to not get whipped. Mm-hmm. Some people sold their brothers and sisters out because they just was like, I won't go inside. I want to be in the master's house. Look, I'm gonna betray everybody that look like me as long as I ain't got to get beat.
Yep, massa.
You know what I'm saying? But yet you come over here and you look down your nose. Even some of us that come from the islands, that come from wherever my friend that's African, she's Nigerian. She always says, I'm royalty. I'm royalty. And how she said that she has slaves, but she said in Africa the way they have it is different. The way the person is just indebted to you. But you'll still be able to protect them, like you supply everything for them, but they're indebted to your family. Right? But she is like, you Americans, you American blacks, you all are just always you American blacks.
But people say that because like I'm royalty or I'm whatever. It's just a sense of identity and you feeling like you have a place where you come from, where Americans, you're going to say American blacks don't. It's like, like obviously the roots of American black people are not, and they're not American. They're not from America. And that's obviously the thing that people talk about. It's like, well, you don't have a sense of history. Where do you come from? Like, it's like you ripped me from wherever I was at and brought me here. And then it's like you're holding that against me. I did something wrong.
I had a choice in the matter.
Right. Like, and it's just like white folks and other people, when they say stuff like that, I'm like, yo, y'all were here by yourselves. I didn't ask you to bring me in. Like, you.
Yeah, first of all, whoever was here before you got here, you stole it. Yeah, you raped, killed, and stole from them.
Right.
You mad I'm at the barbecue and you pick me up.
Right? You like, wait.
You the one that got me.
Like, I rode here with you. What you mad at me for?
You drove me. But this is what I'm saying. People don't understand the magnitude of some of the ignorance that happens here. And some people, they do, but they just don't care. But
because they think it was really a long time ago, and it really wasn't.
Like, it was
like your great grandmother probably worked for a slave. Like,
right.
You know people who probably knew slaves.
What year Harriet Tubman died? Harriet Tubman died what year? I forgot.
1913.
No, right.
It's 1913.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know it was like.
He died in 1913. My grandfather was alive.
Exactly. And speaking of grandfathers, I was just telling mommy this yesterday because, you know, we just got this house and I was standing outside in the backyard breathing in this fresh natural air. And I was like, we got a house. And I was like, what? I asked mommy, I was like, what branch of the military did Papa serve in? She was just like, the Army. I was like, he served in the Army and came back and could not take advantage of the GI Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And he was born before grandma, what, 1919 or 1921?
21.
So he was around for that GI Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't able to take advantage. And then him and my grandmother spent 40 years in a housing project.
Mm-hmm.
Housing
and
project.
People don't understand why Black parents or Black people in general would always tell their kids, the Army is not where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
The Navy, the Army, the Marines, whatever, they're in a place for you.
We're not doing that. And they don't understand why. And then they think that we're not patriotic because we're not willing to fight for the country. We lost enough lives for this country.
Yep.
We don't need to lose no more. And we still losing lives at the hands of the deputized slave catchers.
Right.
But I digress about that.
Well, Afghanistan is interesting because it was, if I remember correctly, getting the troops out and all that other stuff, Trump started that.
Yeah.
By negotiating with the Taliban.
Yes.
So it was kind of like, I mean, if this was his whole plan, obviously Biden I don't know if Biden can reverse that or whatever the case would be since it was already set in motion.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just poorly executed. I mean, at some point you kind of have to think like the Taliban something's going to happen once we leave.
Yeah, but it didn't seem as if the Afghan government really believed that we was ever going to leave. And I also believe that the people that were in Afghanistan that were American citizens, they didn't believe, because I'm sure they were just like, all right, cool, you know, pack your stuff up. We're going to be leaving soon. And they were like, oh, y'all said that a year ago. Y'all said that 6 months ago. And then when the Taliban was just like, okay, you have until 4:30 tonight to get all your stuff out of here.
No shit.
Angela and
wait till it's here.
Get out.
They didn't think that they was gonna that they needed to pack and be at Kabul airport within the next 30 minutes. They didn't think that they thought they had time. Right?
Wrong.
Right? But then you have the Afghan people that had such desperation. You thought that you was really going to hold on
to a plane.
Plane.
Aircraft.
Buying
the military aircraft.
With just your chincletas and your...
Like what?
That is true desperation.
That is
and the crazy thing about it is
they had no harness or nothing.
When you think about all the little documentaries or movies and different things that you see of true stories that happened in Afghanistan, you would get the feeling they don't want the troops there anyway. So now when it's like, don't leave, it's like, what? So it's I mean, I don't know.
And it shows you that all these people that literally left their homes, they literally like how I'm sitting in my house right now and they say, okay, you guys can go to paradise. And my family just like, take what you can. And everybody just get up and leave.
Right.
The thousands of people that left show you the stress that the people were under that government. And then the leader was saying, you know, he was a little pissed off because you know, you had scientists, you had doctors, you had, you know, prominent people that was literally on that line to leave.
They were like, I'm out of here.
So
when you were watching news, like the news reporters, they were trying to explain how hot it is, but they didn't even have to say nothing. I saw them sizzling just from the mic. You know what I'm saying? And they were just like, it's really hot. It's over 100 degrees, and you know. And then they have to stay covered if that are females and stuff.
Right.
And then you have little babies that were passing out of heat exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a really bad scene.
Yeah.
But we went there under false pretenses. So the fact that it took over 20 years to get out of something that we shouldn't have been in the first place.
Exactly.
Yep. But war is big business. That's why these war is business. You had all these private.
It always come back to the money. That's where it always comes back to.
George Bush is probably at home just sitting back like, look at him.
No, did you not see his speech that he gave trying to throw a little shade at Mr. Trump and his January 6ers?
Oh, yes.
George Bush?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that.
I swear that Barack or Michelle wrote that speech. that was the best speech that I've heard ever.
Yeah, they would say that's the best speech.
Michelle might have wrote it. From what I know, George Bush is quite fond of her.
Oh, yeah. He loves little Shelley. He loves little Shelley.
You want a piece of that black?
Yeah. He heard some things about the sisters. Yeah.
Right. He's just like, is it true? Once you go black, you never go back.
Is it true?
Is it true?
But yeah, so I hope that Mr. Biden, President Biden, he being big bad bold with the whole, you know, the buck stops here. It's me. I made the decision. I want you to say that, but I also want you to make sure you spend all that money that you were spending on the war, on the people over here. And while you and Merrick Garland is over there trying to hold the Supreme Court accountable, I need y'all to pass some laws that hold police officers accountable for the stuff they do. One thing that I don't understand is how is it that the Democrats are in power, but the Republicans still in power?
Aren't they outnumbered in?
Well, because it's the 50-50, so they share.
But Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are the ones that have been holding up the Democratic Party from passing any real legislative things. He's going to have to do a lot of executive orders because the filibuster, it seemed like it ain't going nowhere and they can't pass nothing.
Which is similar to Barack's situation because they held him up from doing a lot.
Yeah,
but that was when they was in office.
But what he should really and truly
in power.
I mean, I agree. He should just go Trump style and just start executive ordering everything he wants.
Bulldoze that joint.
Which, I mean, to some degree, I give Donald Trump credit for that. Just in regards to like, he was like, yeah, I want something done. If y'all ain't doing the vote for it, then I'm just gonna pass that. So I probably shouldn't say give him credit for that, but it's kind of just like he wanted something done. Y'all weren't trying to do that. And he said, to hell with that.
Right.
I feel like he should do the same thing here.
But
Democrats got too much.
Democrats are more.
No,
we are the world.
Be ruthless.
You know,
be ruthless, just like they are. Kevin McCarthy, all of these people, they crazy. You got people that are in elected offices that say that Jewish space lasers. All right, so unfortunately, COVID ain't going nowhere. COVID has not left the building. We thought that we would be out of this last year.
Nah, people don't listen. People don't listen.
I want to go out.
They don't want to stay home for a couple weeks and just chill out for a second and all this other stuff. We outside. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where everybody's at.
But
it's the FOMO. It's the FOMO. They fear the fear of missing out. Like they think they
are missing out because they're dying.
Yeah, I know.
It would be different if 600,000 people plus hadn't died of this same, the vaccine that Nicki Minaj's cousins,
the baby cousin, aunt, uncle,
on the father's side,
brother,
Beyonce,
son. Yeah.
She sounds so stupid.
from Trinidad, became impotent and had all kinds of bodily stuff.
But the Trinidadian government said,
That government was like,
we ain't got no proof of that.
now, Miss Minaj, you know that is not right. You know that ain't the truth.
But your Fox 5 News said they willing to go to Trinidad.
Oh,
Fine. No, that was Fox News.
That was Fox. That was
Fox News. Fox News said
That's
they willing
the
to
one
go
that pick his nose.
to interview.
Talk about Mr. Minaj's cousin's baby cousin, uncle,
Sister-in-law,
fiance,
baby
friend.
cousin, daddy, friend. Yeah.
Call us. I don't know if we air in Trinidad, but please call us if you see this. I said,
How you don't know it? Like how you don't know you don't air?
they don't know the state. They don't know the Nielsen stats
Oh,
in Black countries,
oh, true,
especially not no island.
true.
Why we ain't able to see each other in person like that? What's going on with y'all celebrity anti-vaxxers?
Oh no, they all use the same excuse. I need more information. I have to do more research. I'm like, yo, where have you been for the last like 2 years? What you need more information on?
But it's the people that you actually, you like the David Banners of the world, the bus that are talking this, Tank, all people that I love. Miss Hattie from Tyler Paris, they coming out with the.
Who was it I was watching? Oh, I was watching Stephen A. Smith. And he said, when you go to the doctor, then the doctor prescribes you something. Are we the same people who don't read the bottom line ingredients and
pick up the
all
vibe
that stuff? No. We don't read your prescription thing and it's got this in it and that
You don't
in it.
even listen to the commercials when they say they have the side effects.
Right.
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. I am one of those people that I definitely listen to the commercial. I'm just like, yo,
I do.
this joint would pretty much kill you.
But that's you.
Blue swallows, heart failure.
Like take Perrellicet. The side effects are like your heart can fail, your kidneys will fail, your liver will fail.
Not because I'm a nurse.
Minor bleeding.
And you will die.
And you might die.
Not because
But
I'm
you
a
still
nurse.
take it though.
But the chances of that are very rare. It's
I'm
like,
intrigued.
what?
I'm intrigued by those commercials because there's always somebody on a swing. Or somebody playing a saxophone.
Like doing everything that will cause you to have like, oh, your heart might fail. So he's out here playing basketball.
They got the dude, he's like playing the sax and it's like, pleasant.
Like Cat Williams be like, you ever watch the TV and think you got that some philioma?
Like, damn.
That's some philioma? Be like, I think I got the message.
I think I got that. I did feel that yesterday.
I can't.
But now everybody is
But now
a medical professional.
Yes. Oh, I need to know, like, if it's in there, like what's in there, the ingredients.
That vaccine came out too quick.
And if they did their research, they would have known that vaccine had been on a shelf
for a while.
They don't.
And that coronavirus has been around for a long time.
They're not doing their research, and it's pissing me off because we had, as a culture, we had high numbers of deaths.
Yes.
A lot of us were dying. So when these celebrities are using their platforms to spit out dumb crap, it's come on now. Like right now on a spiritual level, I really feel like the devil is really here because I can't, like, some of the stuff that comes out of people's mouths. I'm like, really? Like, you make millions of dollars and you're saying that dumb crap now? in August of 2021. Like we thought by 2022, we would not have to wear masks. We are going to clearly be wearing masks by 2023. I'm sorry. Because this virus, the goal for the virus is to live. 1 + 1 = 2. Right. So if most of us are vaccinated, then we might not have to wear a mask in 2023. But if we are not getting vaccinated appropriately, we will be doing this until 2025. I guarantee you. The virus is not going to say, you know what, you guys, we've been here on Earth for too long. Let's leave. No, they want to live. So you guys
they're going to keep on mutating.
Yeah.
Right.
And
people aren't listening to that.
They need research. Like, come on.
People ain't gonna listen to that. It doesn't make any sense.
Say that again.
I'm just saying people aren't gonna listen to that, and that just doesn't really make sense. People aren't gonna understand it until they get COVID.
Yeah.
No, but Buster got COVID. He said it was bad.
I didn't know he had it.
And that's just pure. He said that when he was on stage or something, right? He's like, oh, no mask, no this, no that. It's
he was like, F your mask.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you got it bad, that's why I said the devil is here.
Yeah, so that's ignorant.
Bad, and you go after you recover, fuck the vaccine and fuck the mask. Like what? Like, who was talking to you while you was under recovery?
He's trying to equate it to not mind control. What else did he say? What was the verbiage that he used? Basically, we just puppets that are going.
Which doesn't make sense. Government. It doesn't make sense because it's like
you don't believe the science when it comes to the vaccine, but
the minute you
sick, you go to
you believe
the hospital for the same science.
So the science is good when it's not vaccine.
So it's just like,
but
it's just too much social media.
Is it good? Is it not good? Like
also too, why would the government, if it was only for us, then I'll say, wait a minute now, why is it only for us?
Mm-hmm.
But if everybody else is getting it,
white people were the first ones in line for the vaccine.
Even a lot of my Jewish brothers and sisters was on that line.
They were in the line getting that vaccine.
Well,
I mean, if you don't trust politics, trust this: greed.
Right. And not for nothing, I always say, like, regardless if you say, oh, I don't want to die, the vaccine, I don't know you could go outside and get hit by a truck and die. So if you're gonna go anyway, regardless of if you take the vaccine, if you don't, whatever. So it's just like, why not help a situation get better? You could die tomorrow. They're just like, oh, I don't want to die. I don't want to. I'm like,
because I'm not a puppet. I'm not a sheep. When you have people in public spaces that fight you because you're wearing a mask. Like some people literally get up out the bed and go to a store that day and be like, I hope somebody asked me to put my mask.
Right.
It's like, why would I ever do such a thing? Nothing's going to happen. And it's kind of like, do you think these diseases cure themselves? Like, do you think the chicken pox just disappeared or shingles just went away? Like, no.
Everybody had. And I'm like, you got to think of it like our parents, when all of that came out and stuff, they were us. They had to try something new. So it's just like.
But the very first vaccine that was made by an African man.
See? And
one of the doctors that made this particular vaccine
is a black female.
It's a black female doctor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, all skin folk is kinfolk. That's clearly not the case. However, you do have a lot of us that mean well, that want to make a difference within our communities and change the narrative about who we are, because we still go to doctors and they still feel like we have the strength of 10 men, so they don't prescribe, stuff for us like they should, whereas, somebody else come in with a pinky toenail hang, and they like, okay, well, let me give you morphine drip. What else do you need? Some lidocaine patches.
Oxy.
Exactly. Speaking of oxy, my brother, Michael K. Michael K. Williams has transitioned to another place. And
Is there a reason why they buried him in like Maryland or something, or Washington? I can't remember where it was, but
I think his peoples are out there.
okay.
Maryland? Well, I thought it was because he was Omar in Baltimore. You know,
I thought that too originally, and I was just
No, I
like,
think his mother, because he's a youngest of 10, and I think he mentioned he
I
goes.
was like, this dude's from Brooklyn. Like, why is he here?
But it's sad because it seems like our men, and I'm glad you're here, Noe, because our men, young men, are passing, like Biz just passed away. We just lost him not too long ago. DMX. And you know, DMX was also attributed to something drug related. And so the same thing with Michael. But Michael K. Williams died on Sunday. And ironically, the storyline on Power was cooking up a bad batch of drugs. And it killed not just quote unquote crackheads, but it also killed an affluent white young lady. So because of the fact that prescription drugs are a little too expensive, you know, they got to use heroin and you know, try to, you know, make it a little more plentiful with fentanyl. And people are ODing.
Some comedians just died from that too, like 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was like 4 of them.
And it's us.
It's weird. I mean, I'm sure it goes on in, you know, regular society. But I don't know, man. Hollywood just seems like a place I don't want to be. Down for the money, but you can keep the fame.
Yeah.
People clearly can't deal with it.
It's hard.
It's a lot.
And I understand it. Like, if you come out your house and there's 100 people out here waiting on you, it's like.
And social media, everybody has an opinion about you, about what you're doing, and some people, they after a while it's just like, come on. Especially when certain people be like, die. I hope you die. I hope you crawl up and die. I'll find your mother and I'll suck my, you know, all of the stupidness that people be saying.
Yeah.
And not everybody's strong enough to deal with that.
I never really understand how people get into heroin. It just seems like, I mean, any drug can kill you, but I mean, it just seems like, it almost seems like a form of like para-suicide, where it's kind of like, you know, if you take this, like you might get high, but you might die.
Like I was always confused at how they know how much to give themselves. The people that do. Like, how do you know how much to give yourself?
And also too, how they know if they're bagging the right dose, or like, you know, like how in Power, they was getting up too much of the crack, whatever the ratio they were doing was wrong. And so
I mean, I think every friend except for maybe one that's died that I've had, and it's been probably in the double digits now, maybe. They all died from heroin.
Ooh.
Really?
Heroin, like, that's scary.
Not like,
it's cheaper.
Yeah.
That high must be good. Like, to know, like, to take a drug that you know there's a strong possibility you're gonna die from. That high must be awesome. They gotta be.
Well, it says it has the same effects as the oxy. Now, I've been on oxy for over a year. Thank God I didn't get addicted, but I know for the pain that I had, I was just like, give me some more. You know what I'm saying? But other people need that, especially if they're trying to cope with something that they can't. Like, we already spoke about him, but Mike had I had Dilaudid before. That joint on the low dosage, I was like, I see the moon, you know, because it was that strong. But he was getting that joint round the clock. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know, was he having like chronic pains?
He was.
Okay.
He was. He had chronic pain. And you know, when you're dealing with pain, sometimes you want to take anything.
You just want anything
that would knock it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had ankle surgery in 2002, right before the wedding. And
oh yeah, you had the cane. I remember that.
And he was on crutches.
Sure was.
He was on crutches at the wedding.
Two-stepping in my crutches. You know what I'm saying? With the crutch and the cast, making it work. And I got prescribed like Tylenol, like codeine, like 2 or whatever it was. It just had mad bars next to the word codeine. And I was just like, I don't know what this is, but I ain't taking it. But I took it one time out of the entire time, because I have a high tolerance for pain. So if I don't have to take anything, I'll sweat this out. So my uncle came up, Uncle Chris, and he had a headache. So my mom was just like, oh, no, he has these pain pills.
See, Black people always sharing.
You know we share medicine. You know we share medicine.
He comes downstairs. He was just like, yo, what's up with Uncle Chris? I'm just like, what are you talking about? He's like, yo, he in the kitchen sweating, like just sitting in the corner. So I'm like, what happened? And my mom was like, well, he had a headache. So he's like, what did he take? Did you give him something? Yeah, I gave him one of those. Put some He's like, what pill? So my mom hands him the bottle, and he's like, yo, what? And my uncle is sitting in the chair like, just sweating. Like, I was sitting there like, yo, what? Nah, you can't do that. Like, you have to, there's got to be some type of real trauma going on in your body to take it.
To take
not a headache.
Right.
But just seeing that kind of reaction from a half a pill,
right.
because it's all given to you, based on like your size and your weight and all that other stuff.
Right.
And at that time, I'm probably like 140 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a small, it was like 15 or something, 14, 15 at the time. And I'm like, this dude is a grown man, 5'10" or so, probably like 180 pounds. And he's in the kitchen just broken. So if a half a pill, maybe not like just a half a pill.
You might have died off of the whole pill.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't know.
You would have felt really bad if your uncle had died off of that pill.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, what is happening right now? Like,
no.
But when I think about stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, drugs ain't for me.
Yeah. I remember years ago, before I went to nursing school, I had a bad toothache. And my husband went in his drawer, was like, yo, I got a bottle of Vicodin. And he handed me two Vicodins. I'm 5 feet tall. He handed me 2 Vicodins. I went to sleep and I woke up and the whole room was full of smoke. I sat up and the whole room was full of smoke. I said, oh shit. I was like, okay, I'm hallucinating. And I went right back to sleep. I was like, because I knew the house was not on fire. I knew this was clearly the Vicodin doing whatever this was.
Vicodin. I would be able to take 2 and 3 at a time and nothing.
Damn, because your tolerance, you know what happens, but also too when it comes out of drugs, like you got to graduate to the next level. You just can't throw somebody in the water, and make them swim. Like you got to give them tiny doses and break. That's why I say, like your uncle, real talk, he could have died off a whole pill if he was in the corner sweating like that off a half a pill. So. Like fentanyl patches, they tell people all the time, if you're on a fentanyl patch and you got pets in your home, you got to be very careful because if that patch falls off and that pet puts the patch in their mouth and suck all the dose for 3 days, your cat or your dog gonna be in the corner frozen. Their body gonna be stiff.
Michael, I just felt like he was just a light. He was a light of it. It seemed like all of the good die young.
Because he was a nice dude.
He was really
nice. I didn't know, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know how nice he was until recently. After he died, I started looking at videos of him and I was like, wow, he was a cool dude. And I feel really bad that I never really like got into who he was when he was alive.
Yeah. I loved him and Wire. You know, Omar was everything. But as of recent, I fell in love with him again over Lovecraft Country.
Yes.
That was on Netflix or something like that, right?
HBO.
HBO.
Do you think spiritually the show did not get another season because maybe it was spiritually known that he was not gonna be alive for the next season? Because wait, did he die in season 1? Did his character die? Huh? The father.
No, the father didn't die.
Yeah, so because as soon as I heard it, I'm like, I wonder spiritually, was that the reason why they didn't? Because remember they were trying to get another season and they didn't get approved for another season. I don't even know. Did you know that they didn't get approved?
No.
Yeah, they didn't get approved for another season.
Yeah,
That girl from Roll Bounce is in that, right? The light skin girl.
yeah, no.
Journey.
I thought they got it.
The show was canceled,
Yeah.
but they got like 18
Emmys.
Emmy things. So I'm sure that
Netflix.
or
Somebody.
somebody.
It's always harder to do period pieces because it's much more expensive to shoot.
Yes.
So the show was the show good? I caught one scene.
No, that show was good.
And
I had to watch it twice.
I was like, yeah, I don't know if and I never watched it again because it was
it the first episode? Because it was like a somewhat of a horror, but based in factual historical things that had to deal with us.
Yeah.
It was this. I don't know what I didn't watch the show to watch the show, and I just so happened to walk into the room at the time and kind of look up, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
So the same thing happened to me, Noel, where when I saw the previews of the show, I was not interested in it. The scene that caught me was one day that it was on the TV, and I was sitting there charting on my bed, and when the lady, you remember she used to turn into a white woman?
Oh yeah.
And she
with the heel.
That was the turning point.
I was like,
I was like, yo, this show is everything.
Yes.
I was just like, what is
they played Cardi B song with the red.
Yes.
Was it Bodak Yellow?
Yes.
Bodak Yellow. I was just like, no, I can't do this.
I watched it after that.
It was dope. It was dope.
Yeah.
We watch it. Like
I can't even lie. Like I was watching the scene when he was having sex with the dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had spit that wild loogie into his hand. That was the first thing that I saw. And in that moment, I was just like, good.
This ain't for me. This ain't for me.
Good. And I was just like, yo, I'm down with whatever y'all want to do. But that loogie was mad big. And it just looked crazy. And I was like, nah. I'm good. Like y'all are saying it was good and watch it. I'm still not gonna. That scene messed it up for me. She would be like, I'm gonna watch my show. I'm out. I'm good.
No, but that's
I lost
the end. You can watch the others.
Nah, I was like, yo, I'm good. She's like, it's such a great show. I'm good.
Yeah, that was a big.
Yeah,
that was.
Like I walked in the room because like I'll come out the shower, about to get dressed, just look at the TV real quick.
Nah, B.
I ain't take my clothes and go back to take all my stuff and go back to the bathroom. This is why.
Michael played Omar in The Wire, and Omar was an openly gay man.
But the loogie didn't look like that. That joint was in 3D. That joint was mad big, and it was unexpected. It was unexpected, and it was mad big. Like that joint was coming off the screen.
You wanted to go get a paper towel and clean up the
room. Like that joint happened, and I was, it was crazy. Like I was like, yo, what the hell?
I was disturbed though. I ain't go front. Like I was like,
it was disturbing. It was disturbing. It was disturbing.
Yeah.
Did y'all know that Michael had the opportunity to kill the person that sliced his face and he didn't do it?
No.
Yeah.
What interview was that? I never heard that.
He had two opportunities. He said he's seen a guy twice that did that to his face. He said the second time the guy was actually at a friend's house or a cousin's house. He went to the cousin's house and the guy was still on the couch. And so the cousin introduced him. I think it was his cousin. It was somebody. The person introduced him, like, oh, this is my, friend Michael, whatever. And the guy was sitting there, and Michael said to the guy, like, you don't remember me? He was like, no, I remember you. He's like, really? You don't remember me? And he was like, no. Michael said he just busted out laughing. He went in next to him and he sat there. He said the devil was on his shoulder and was like, go in the kitchen and get a knife and stab that dude up. And he said he got scared because he was sincerely thinking about killing him.
About murder in the first.
He said he hopped up out of there and ran because he was so scared that he knew that he had the opportunity to do that. Because he knew if he had did that, his whole life
no coming back.
But so the guys that was interviewing him said, okay, well, I'm pretty sure by this point the guy knows it's you now. What would you say to him? And he said, I want to thank him and say I'm sorry. He said, thank him because that scar got him a lot of roles. And then he said, sorry. He said, because for the guy, he said the guy had the what you call it, the razor under his tongue. And he said, Michael admitted that he was wilding out. He said, so for the guy to have that much fear to want to slice him in the face, he said, I'm sorry for the way I was acting that caused you to feel like you had to slice me in my face. He said he thought the guy was smacking him in his face, not realizing he was getting sliced up in the face.
I didn't even know his scar was real. Like during The Wire, I thought that was just a part of the character.
Yeah, no.
I didn't even know the scar was a real thing until...
It's like him and Jamie Hector that also played in The Wire and played in Bosch. He played Marlowe in The Wire, but you see he also has a scar too.
I was just like, oh, he's doing an interview on TV. I was just like, why does he still have that scar on his face? I'm like, this dude stays in character.
That boy good.
And then it was like after a while, I'm like, oh, that scar is real.
It's like,
but his interviews were all like throughout the years, they were all like, he just seemed like a lighthearted type dude. Like, cause he talked about like his problems, his issues and all types of stuff very candidly, like just easily spoke about it. Like it was just like, yeah, man, I grew up, it was rough. You know, I was into something and it was whatever. It was just like, wow, he's very open.
And he used to be a dancer. He danced for Madonna.
For Crystal Waters,
CeCe Peniston.
I always liked when he was in movies or shows because like I just felt like one, he was a dope actor and whatever he was in, I'm like, it's gonna be good.
Right.
Yeah.
Too bad that we won't be able to see some of the things that he was trying to promote that he was supposed to be starring in next, but it wasn't for him. And I really wish that we had a better way to deal with our demons. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Unfortunately, you know, we already spoke about slavery, spoke about all this stuff, and we just keep on dealing with trauma. Spoke about R. Kelly, trauma. And a lot of people don't know how to deal with it. You know, sometimes we don't even believe that therapy is something that is attainable for us.
Yeah.
So we just walk around haunted all day. Like his character in, like he literally played his life. That's the character he played in Lovecraft Country.
Yeah.
He was haunted by his past. I don't know about his physical pain, but I know in an interview that he had did with Courtney B. Vance that, you know, Courtney would say that he was sending prayers and stuff because he was dealing with a lot of emotional stuff.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, because even in his Breakfast Club interview, maybe years ago, like he talked about, I don't say he was raped, but like molestation. He was molested and like he was having trouble with his identity and all types of other things like that. And
I remember that.
And but he even when he spoke about it, it was just like, hey, I'm figuring it out. And because Charlamagne was asking like, yo, so how do you feel about playing gay characters and all this other stuff? And he was just like, it's just acting. But one of the things he did say that was interesting was he was talking about getting rid of the baggage that comes with playing certain characters. And he was speaking to somebody and they were like, yo, you gotta, can't remember if he said he has to go to therapy or you have to take time away from these characters to meditate. And he's basically saying like you have to wash your brain of some of these characters, because he's like, yo, sometimes you got to go to some wild dark places to play some of these characters, and you carry that with you back to your house and all these other places or whatever. And he was just like, so after some roles, he was just like, if it's something crazy, you just got to take some time to yourself and kind of just, he's like, just wash my brain and just kind of just, exercise the demons of the character.
I'm Kaya, life coach and founder of the Maven Movement. And if you or someone you know is struggling to find ways to cope with your trauma, there is help for you. Just text 741 741 for help. Peace and blessings always.